at the end of the day, and this is the surprising part about HVAC. Yes, we're engineers and we spend a lot of time in school learning all this stuff, but at the end of the day, HVAC is really simple. I mean, it's a bunch of basic science. We're not putting the space shuttle up in the air. Man, what we're doing is really simple.
Simple
At the
stuff.
end of the day, if I look at air conditioning, okay, I'm doing nothing more than transferring heat from someplace that I don't want it to someplace that I don't care. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And people oftentimes get all hung up in what we do for air conditioning, and it's really not that difficult.
Got to keep it in the basics sometimes for me anyway. So great reminder. Good reminder about this. I'm glad you called and, jumped on me. I'm going to do I've been doing these solve this HVAC equation examples, and I tend to focus on air more because that's just kind of like more of what I focused on in the past, but I'm going to start focusing more on the water. And let's talk about a couple of resources. So if you want to learn more about topics like this, chilled water presentations, all things pumping, I would put a plug in for Armstrong's website, Armstrong Fluid Technology.com. And I looked this morning, they have 189 webinars, and Tony Furst is probably on many, if not all of them. And I have to tell you, they're extremely valuable content. So go back, check those out if you want to learn, or if you got new engineers and you want to learn about pumps. They're not all sales pitch webinars, right? There's some product stuff, but 99% of it is like, here's what pump laws are. Here's why this is important. Kind of stuff like we're talking about today. Is that right, Tony?
Exactly. And once you get in there and you get signed up to be able to view the webinars, you'll get notices. We do 2 new webinars every month. I've got one coming up in a week from tomorrow, actually, where I'm talking about harmonics and variable frequency drives. Because there's a lot of misinformation about harmonics and how to deal with it and what it is and what it isn't. And so we're gonna have a 1-hour webinar on hydronics, or the harmonics, excuse me.
Harmonics, yeah.
Another H word. But what we're trying to do is educate people. I'm not going to tell you that one methodology is better than another. But I want people to understand there are some things that you really, really got to pay attention to. And my good friend Armin just put the website address up there for me. So everybody, that's the web address. And please go check it out. There's all kinds of webinars. I guarantee, like Tony said, they are not sales pitches, because I'm not a sales guy. I'm an engineer. And so it's all about the technical training and all about educating people.
For sure.
We also have we've got one coming up on, I know somebody had just popped up a note that somebody wants a webinar on district cooling design, and we are working on that. I've got the webinar schedule pretty much laid out through the middle of the year, but I can always change it. And so that one is always a possibility. And
nice. That would be a good one for sure.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing to understand. District energy is really starting to take off. We had, Tony, I don't think you were at the booth when we did this. So